Hi, friends. I am Nancy from Catholic Sprouts, if we haven't met before. I am so honored that you're following along for our big Clubhouse launch. We opened it in August, have had the doors closed, and are just having the joy of welcoming new members right now. So if you're considering, I wanted to talk to you directly today and not write a message. And so, as you've probably seen, the Clubhouse revolves around 4 live events each month. We pray, craft, talk to a religious community, and have a chat about virtues with Sir Roland. So those are the 4. But I also wanted you to know that in the course of running it for the last couple months, we have realized that we need something more than the live events. And so if you have had the thought, like, I want to do something for my kids like this, but putting something else on the calendar just is too much. I just can't go there. First of all, I totally understand. And secondly, I want you to know that the Clubhouse still might be a very valuable place for you. So what I want to tell you about today is called the Youth Development Program inside of the Clubhouse. So to understand it, we have 2 different levels for kids in the Clubhouse for youth development. The first one is for younger kids, ages 4 through 9. And we call this group our Explorer group. And we just basically encourage them to go on an adventure, to go through different challenges, and to earn various rewards. So this is similar to our old school patch program that we used to run in Catholic Sprouts if you've been around for a while. But the fun thing is a lot of these challenges kids accomplish at our live events, like ask a nun a question, pray the Divine Mercy Chaplet, post a craft or do a craft and share it in the community. So they're very simple and hopefully fun, and hopefully just sort of put that ownership of showing up at events onto the kids themselves so that you don't necessarily have to be keeping track of it so much. The younger kids, that is for ages 4 through 9. But the big program here is for those 10 and older kids. What we realize is that, a kid who's 10, 11, 12, 13, they can still have a lot of fun on the calls, but really the heart of them is for a little bit younger kid. And frankly, they are at a time in their life, these 10 plus aged kids, where they need a little bit more. In fact, studies have shown again and again that adults that were raised in the Catholic faith but ultimately left the faith, they say that although they were still going to mass with their family when they were a preteen, a teenager, they actually made the decision to leave the faith between the ages of 10 and 13. That's when they decided, this isn't for me. I don't believe this. I'm not going to ascribe to this when I have the freedom to choose. And so we really want to take that seriously and serve this age group. And I really see it as like 10 through 16. Of course, that varies based on the kid, but I want to serve them well. I want to supply resources for them that feel special and for them that are at their level, that challenge them, and most importantly of all, that equip them to make an informed decision during these years based on truth. And of course, I believe that if you have the truth, you will decide that the Catholic Church is the only place to be, that here alone we have the fullness of truth. So this age group 10 plus, we call them our navigators. And we challenge navigators inside the Clubhouse to go on expeditions. Well, an expedition is really just a non-homeworky word for an audio course, but these audio courses are set up as a private podcast. And the intention is that your children in this age group will, have, for me, I give my daughter Bernadette is working through an expedition right now. She has an old phone that we can get on Wi-Fi, download the web episodes to, turn off Wi-Fi, and she can put in some earbuds and go listen to it. But so the first expedition, here's my own phone, is called Defenders of the Faith. And as you can see, once you're subscribed through the Clubhouse, all of the episodes appear here. A kid can just work their way through it. But the thing is that although it's me delivering this content, so it'll have that familiarity if you listen to the podcast, these are different. The episodes are longer. Some episodes are up to 20 minutes long. And also, they're about bigger things, kind of more complete fact, problems for them to put together. So this first expedition that we require all navigators to do first is called Defenders of the Faith. And here we walk through all of the arguments or clues, if we want to call it that, for why the Catholic Church is the true faith. And we start back at the beginning with how do we know God is real? Through religion, that Christ exists, that Jesus founded the church. But then we'd even go beyond sort of the truth element here and talk about why the church is good, why it is the true source of goodness, and how we can see through beauty that the church is the true church. So my hope is that they go through this, and I think it's roughly 2.5 hours of content broken up into about 10 different segments, that they take it upon themselves to go and listen on their own. Of course, you're welcome to preview material if that would help you, just feel more confident about it. Of course. But then as they go, they sort of fill out a very simple travel log. And my hope is that they can take simple notes there, but they can be things that they cement in their memory, not only so that when they're, a high school and someone's challenging their beliefs, which, happens, but also so that when they're out there struggling with society or questioning who they are as a Catholic, that they have this strong foundation. Because let's be honest, all of those people in these studies that lost their faith when they were between 10 and 13 years old, they didn't go through a course like this. They didn't have access to the truth, and that's what our kids need. And so the youth development program inside the Clubhouse for little kids is all about just helping them use this better, put their faith into action, have fun. But once you become 10, it's a real serious journey. And not only do we have them go through this Defenders of the Faith expedition or audio course, but each month we're going to share a new one. They must start with Defenders of the Faith. Then we're going to have them go through a creed or belief course. Then we're going to have them study the person of Jesus Christ. We're going to move on to Mary, talk about the early church. And each of these will be fully developed courses delivered through a private podcast. I love the private podcast because then I can have my kids listen to it on a device that I have locked once I've started an episode, and they don't have to be on a computer. And it's just easy access, I feel, for families. So the great thing, and a lot of kids in the Clubhouse are really excited about this, and I am too, is that after a navigator completes 4 different expeditions, then they are bumped up a level. They then have reached the status of youth officer. And inside of the Clubhouse, they have certain privileges and certain duties. They are welcomed into a private Slack channel. Of course, parents are welcome to, where they can meet each other and build friendships. And also, I will be hosting a private Bible study for the kids once they graduate to this level. And also on Clubhouse calls, we're going to ask them to help with planning and leading prayer, just so that they can really take on that ownership, level, that ownership responsibility. Also, I want you to know that if you have a big old family like I do, where you have kids that are navigators and kids that would be younger too, we only ask for one family subscription for all of your kids to go through this. And we will treat them all individually, send them all their rewards as they earn them. And so, I have 6 kids. I could put them all in here and have them all doing this, working on their own. We feel like that's really important because a lot of our families are really big. So anyway, if you're considering joining the Clubhouse, really, we would love to have you. We would love to just welcome you to our community, meet you, support your kids exactly where they are, have some fun on live events, but also equip them for these big years when they're 10, 11, 12, 13, and making these big choices about if they're going to be Catholic or not. Let's just help them with those choices. So sign up soon. We have a great introductory price available now, but it is ending on December 13th.